Shantanu Roj is one of the founding members and the CEO of School Guru EduServe. He's an All India CBSE topper and a gold medalist from Indian Institute of Technology, Varanasi, followed by a Master's in Management Studies from Jamnalal Bajaj Institute of Management and an Executive Management Program in Global Business Management from IIM Kolkata. Shantanu is a passionate education entrepreneur, an investor and a speaker, and has written several opinion articles in many reputed international magazines and newspapers. He has spoken extensively about his vision on the future of education, University 4.0 at multiple forums. I'd like to invite Mr. Shantanu on stage here. I request Mr. Harshal Bhagwat to please come and felicitate Mr. Shantanu Roj.
So good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. So you have heard it all from the veterans, from the exponents, from the experts here. So before I get into the presentation, let me tell you a story. In fact, a real life incident. In the July of 1988, somewhere on the shores of Scotland, in the icy waters of the North Sea, this man was standing on an oil rig. Dark night, pitch dark all the ways, and he suddenly hears a loud explosion. The rig was on fire. People were running helter-skelter all the places, and this guy saw fire and smoke all around him. He also ran with the people and reached the edge of the rig. He looked down and he could only see the icy, cold waters of the Antarctic. The fire was rushing towards him. He had only a few seconds to decide. He could have stood there and would have definitely been consumed by the flames. Or he could have jumped into the water and taken a chance. He had only a few seconds to decide. Under normal, ordinary circumstances, he would have never jumped into the water, almost 30 feet down. But this was no ordinary times. He made a choice. He decided to jump into the water. He was ultimately rescued after some time and lived to tell his tale. The burning platform changed the behavior of that person that day and made him to take steps which he would have never taken otherwise. We are all standing on a platform that's burning beneath us. And we need to work very quickly. The experts today told us all about how the world of work, how the industry is changing very, very fast. Let me give you a few examples to what I've learned. And let me give you examples industry by industry. Look at the oil industry, for example. The oil industry used to be a $6 trillion industry. Today, it's a $4 trillion industry. $2 trillion is gone away from this entire production system. What has happened? What is the phenomenon which has made this transition? It is the discovery of shale gas. The discovery of the shale gas permitted companies to drill vertically down and then go horizontally to drill into smaller pockets of oil. And that made United States today the second largest producer of shale gas in the world. Look at the implication of that. Because of that, Saudi Arabia, the Prince Salman comes and says that this is no more sustainable. Venezuela is gone. The US doesn't care about the Middle East anymore, right? So the world has started changing. One single discovery, the discovery of shale gas, has started changing the world economics. Look at the way manufacturing is changing. And today, Dr. Mantha was talking in the morning about two different types of technologies in manufacturing. Manufacturing all the while, that way we knew it since the time we were born, was a reductive form of manufacturing, right? So in the earlier days of manufacturing, people used to convert ores into metals, metals into larger sheets, and then sheets used to be cut to make lots of different items that we know today. The concept of reductive manufacturing is changing to an additive manufacturing, to a new technology called 3D printing. The 3D printing are bigger machines in which we put the raw materials in powder form. We put the design into the machine, and the machine starts putting layer of different components on top of each other and start manufacturing an entire product bespoke for yourself. Look at the implication of this. All this while, the way automobiles worked is companies like Honda, companies like Ford, companies like Mercedes, all of these guys created a large number of cars. They were to distributors, they were to retailers, we used to go to the shops and buy them. Today, the scenario is you can actually go to a startup in Bangalore that I know, talk to him about the type of car that you want to build, a car of your dreams. He creates a design for you, approve it. Next 1 hour, the design has been emailed to a person next door who is into 3D printing. In the next 2 days, you get a car completely 3D printed, bespoke, manufactured, specifically. Is it all fairy tales? No, it's actually happening all around us. I've been told that in Netherlands, they have actually built 3D printed a complete bridge in Netherlands. And it's actually operational there. Look at the way, so if this actually starts working, look at the way things will change in manufacturing in the next few years. Look at automobiles, for example. Automobiles works on the technology of IC engines, internal combustion engines. Today, automobile happens to be one of the largest employers in the world. 1 in 6 person across the world is employed into automobile industry, directly or indirectly. And that particular industry, automobile, is being disrupted by something called electric vehicles. The IC engine automobile has got about 2,000 moving parts. An electric vehicle has got only 6 moving parts inside the vehicle. What happens if the entire IC engine vehicles get shifted to electric vehicles? Look at the way the industry will start getting impacted. Right? Projections and a lot of research says that by 2030, almost 60% of the vehicles across the world will be electric vehicles. What's the implication of that on employment? What will happen to all the companies who made components for all of these automobile companies? It's going to a disruption which is faster than what we can all fathom. And all industries are getting disrupted today. Look at medical industry, for example. All this while, how did you get blood tests done? Went to one of these shops where the blood tests are taken, they're taken to the lab, and the people will look at a microscope and they do these tests. Today, there are companies in Bangalore who says that they take your sample of your small piece of your blood, put it on the computer, they use big data on top of it, they match it to various samples available across the world on the computers and tell you your blood samples, blood tests, couple of seconds now. That's the way medical technology is changing. The way stem cell has started changing medical is very, very different. Today you can actually produce a kidney. I've been told that they have produced a complete lamb out of the womb. Look at the way robotics is changing surgery. So entire world is getting disrupted faster than we can all fathom. And that necessitates that education will have to start shifting gears. The transition from farm to non-farm for China happened through manufacturing. But for India has missed that manufacturing cycle. Deng Xiaoping was definitely a very skilled man, but he was also a very lucky man. He got 30 years of super cycle of global growth, global openness to trade, and global deconstruction of manufacturing. And that actually created the manufacturing revolution in China. India is not fortunate with that. The hand that dealt with China at that time is not the same hand as deals with our country today. India's transition from farm to non-farm will have to happen through services. And we need to be aware of this particular stuff. And that necessitates certain changes in behavior and certain changes in the way we construct education, the way we define education, and education, the way education is shift to learning. I'd like to show you a small video and then possibly take you through a short presentation that I have.
कुछ ही दिन पहले पापा मुझे बता रहे थे कि उन्हें मुझ पर कितना नाज है। ग्रेजुएशन डे वाली फ़ोटो दिखा रहे थे। ग्रेजुएशन कैप वाली सेल्फी में वो बहुत फ़नी लग रहे थे लेकिन बहुत खुश भी। मेरी मॉम भी बहुत खुश थी। ग्रेजुएशन डे ने मुझे नालायक से राजा बेटा बना दिया। उस दिन सब खुश थे सिवाय मेरे। अब आप सोचोगे क्यों? क्योंकि जैसी लाइफ आप सब एक्सपेक्ट कर रहे हैं मेरे लिए आफ्टर ग्रेजुएशन, वो इतनी आसान नहीं है। अब ग्रेजुएशन खत्म, अब अच्छी नौकरी और सैलरी, फिर प्रमोशन और उससे भी अच्छी सैलरी। लेकिन ये इतना आसान नहीं है, क्योंकि नौकरी के लिए चाहिए वर्क एक्सपीरियंस, वर्क एक्सपीरियंस के लिए चाहिए नौकरी, और नौकरी के लिए चाहिए डिग्री भी। नौकरी, वर्क एक्सपीरियंस और डिग्री, ये सब एक साथ कैसे? ये सब कितना मुश्किल। लेकिन मेरे लिए नहीं, क्योंकि मुझे मिला वर्कएक्स। वर्कएक्स एक 15 मंथ का डिप्लोमा प्रोग्राम है जो देता है एजुकेशन के साथ साथ इंडस्ट्री वर्क एक्सपीरियंस। एक ऐसा कोर्स जो देता है आपको आपकी मन चाहिए इंडस्ट्री में एजुकेशन, स्किल्स, वर्क एक्सपीरियंस। ये पूरा करिकुलम इंडस्ट्री और गवर्नमेंट के द्वारा नीम रेगुलेशंस के अंतर्गत स्थापित और स्वीकृत है। अगर सरल भाषा में कहा जाए तो 15 महीनों के अंदर आपको स्टूडेंट से कॉर्पोरेट प्रोफेशनल बनने की जितनी भी चीजें हैं, एजुकेशन, स्किल, ऑन जॉब वर्क एक्सपीरियंस, सब देता है। सिर्फ किताबी ज्ञान नहीं, किताबों से बाहर भी। वर्कएक्स ने मुझे तैयार किया एक अच्छी नौकरी और अच्छी तनख्वाह के लिए। माफ कीजिएगा, मैं आपको अपना परिचय देना भूल गया। आई एम राहुल सिन्हा, मार्केटिंग एग्जीक्यूटिव ऑफ द फ्यूचर ग्रुप।
To introduce ourselves, School Guru happens to be a group company of a larger group called Team Lease. Team Lease is a public listed company. We're about 4,000 crores in turnover, about 1.7 lakhs employees on the payrolls with us. We pride in the fact that we have provided a job every 5 minutes in this country over the last 17 years. We have close to about 70,000 apprentices who are working with us in different corporates, on different industries. We have run India's first PPP-based employment exchange. We run India's first vocational university in the state of Gujarat. And we have partnered with about 30 large universities in this country and helping them implement technology in education as well as help them with building employability for their students. A sample list of universities who work with us in various states. So we work with about 30 universities, both largely public universities, but we also have private, open, all sorts of universities here across 15 different states. The various services that School Guru provides to universities are enrollment services. We help them get more number of students for their different programs, help them shore up revenues. We help them build up technology-enabled learning services for their students. We do the entire stuff in terms of technology, content, student support, assessment. All of these are something that is managed by School Guru for these universities there. We help them improvise their student support services, which is how do they provide world-class services to their student and build competitive advantage for themselves. We help them build intelligent, artificial intelligence powered remote proctored online assessments and figure out how you can do large number of online assessments completely secure at scale. And we also help them build employability solutions for their students. We have run India's first PPP-based employment exchange. We run India's first vocational university in the state of Gujarat. And we have partnered with about 30 large universities in this country and helping them implement technology in education as well as help them with building employability for their students. A sample list of universities who work with us in various states. So we work with about 30 universities, both largely public universities, but we also have private, open, all sorts of universities here across 15 different states. The various services that School Guru provides to universities are enrollment services. We help them get more number of students for their different programs, help them shore up revenues. We help them build up technology-enabled learning services for their students. We do the entire stuff in terms of technology, content, student support, assessment. All of these are something that is managed by School Guru for these universities there. We help them improvise their student support services, which is how do they provide world-class services to their student and build competitive advantage for themselves. We help them build intelligent, artificial intelligence powered remote proctored online assessments and figure out how you can do large number of online assessments completely secure at scale. And we also help them build employability solutions for their students. Right? So the value proposition is few folds here. So we help them build student employability. We help them create industry-linked programs. So most of the programs that School Guru has worked with these universities are all industry-linked. We help them provide. Problem with this remote? Okay, we help them provide on-job training through apprenticeships for their students, create online learning leading to diploma, and provide placement assistance to their students. So let me explain one of them, one by one, all of these. Let's look at this, the skill conundrum. The problem happens is because most of the higher education programs that universities and colleges run in this country follows the pattern of uniformity and conformity. Right? So we follow an assembly line process where most students go through a single structured curriculum. The pedagogy is a sort of a challenge. And that produces standard students with standardized knowledge, standardized systems, and that is difficult to change over a short period of time. Whereas the industry's requirement, because of changes which are happening in the industry, because of robotization, because of automation, machine learning, artificial intelligence, the requirements at the industry is changing much faster than we can all fathom. The mismatch of the products which are coming out from these universities and colleges, which definitely do not match directly with the requirements of the industry, that creates an employability gap, and something that we are trying to solve along with the institutions today. So what are the different challenges? If I divide this challenge into three parts, the first part of the students' challenges are these four. We realize today that soft skills are at a premium today over hard skills. The four different skills that we identified that the students need to get to their first jobs: reading, writing, arithmetic, and English. These are the four most important skills that the student needs to get to their first jobs today in this country. No wonder that a fresh student coming out of a college in Bangalore gets an opening salary of about 15,000 rupees versus a student coming from Muzaffarpur in Bihar getting a starting salary of about 7,000 rupees. What's the gap? It's not the knowledge which is the difference, but it's actually the soft skills which makes a lot of difference. We work towards that. Job discovery is a big challenge with students. Career guidance. Students have aspirations, and most of the times what we figured out is these aspirations are not structured. They're not well thought about. They're not well matched to their strengths and weaknesses. Not many people have counseled them about what type of career should actually suit them best. And that's where a gap is. And also a fitment issues in terms of their aspirations and the open positions they are available. From an institution perspective, the challenges are different. Employability that leads to higher enrollments, obviously to higher revenues. And lots of universities and lots of institutions today, and Professor Kamath spoke in the morning about how a large number of institutions, almost 67% of the institutions in this country have less than 500 students. And one of the key challenges today is students being able to fathom the outcome that this institution is going to provide. Does it match their aspirations? And most of the times, the aspiration is about employability. Challenges about accreditations today, right? NAC has become existential questions today for institutions. In the next few years, people have to get to NACs. They have to get to certain gradations on NAC. If you don't get them, you are ripped off certain privileges. You don't get subsidies, you can't run distance education, you can't do online programs, and so many of them. Right? Branding is linked very, very closely to employability today. Institutions where the employability is high are looked at as a premium institutions. And building industry connect, it's a different challenge today. And from an employer perspective, the challenges are very, very different. The ability to find right candidates today is a big challenge. Right? Ability to find trained candidates is a big challenge. Who bears the training cost today? Today, employers are wary of taking the training cost because of three holes in the bucket. That's an article that we wrote some time back. So that you train the candidate doesn't join you. You train the candidate joins a competition. You train the candidate joins you and leaves after some time. Right? So employers are not willing to fund the training, but they're willing to pay a premium for trained candidates, and that's a challenge today. Right? Recruitment time, attrition problems are the challenges that employers are struggling with today. How could possibly this problem would have been solved. We thought that the few ingredients to the recipe would be programs which has some of these characteristics. Programs which are credit linked. Programs because students value higher education. Right? The programs which have degree connectivity. Program which provides lifelong continuous learning, programs which provide multimodal learning, not only in class, not only through distance education, not necessarily through online only, not necessarily through on job, but use a creative combination of these 4 classrooms and provide multimodal learning today. Right? So possibly some of these ingredients need to come into the recipe to create higher employability to our graduates. So what is WorkX? So WorkX is this innovative program that School Guru created and is running with multiple universities in multiple states today. So WorkX has been structured as a 15 months diploma program which a student can do either parallel to his degree program or immediately after his degree program. This WorkX program contains 3 months of preparatory training which is done using a combination of classroom and online training where we actually primarily train students on soft skills. And the balance 12 months happens through a combination of on-the-job training and an online training. Right? So students who enroll into WorkX first get a 3 months of preparatory training, post which they will get into one of the corporates as a trainee. They will go to the on-job classroom. They will spend 12 months there as a trainee, earn monthly stipends, get to learn the actual nuances of the job actually by doing. Learning by doing is a very, very strong theorem, and I think it actually works there. What WorkX does for a lot of freshers is it actually helps them understand the way industry works and builds what is called soft skills, which is beyond just mere skills, just mere English, and tells them about how the industry works and takes away the tag of a fresher from this particular graduate. Imagine we have certainly so many of our partner universities are open universities today, right? So a student who is getting into distance education has all the time in the world, do not go to a physical classroom. The student, when he's getting into a distance education program, can enroll into a WorkX program in parallel. He can continue his degree program through his distance education mode, but through the WorkX program, he gets into a corporate as a trainee right from his 4th month onwards. He gets to spend his next 3 years while he's doing his graduation as a trainee, as an apprentice in that corporate. Obviously, by the time the student graduates at the end of 3 years, he would have already earned about 2.5 years of work experience. This, apart from the monthly stipends that would have earned any which way. This student, at the end of his 3 years, as soon as he graduates, has no problems in getting his first job there. Yeah? And at our group, at Team Leads, we already have about 70,000 apprentices working across the country in different corporates, across industries. The WorkX program that we run is closely linked with the NEEM regulations of the Government of India, which is run through AICT, Minister of HRD. We call it NETAP, National Employability Through Apprenticeship Program. That's our brand in the way we run this particular program. Under the NETAP program, which is a government regulated program, so that means the apprenticeship that the student goes through is completely government regulated. It has a minimum duration of 3 months. The students can do an apprenticeship up a maximum of 36 months. Criteria is the student should be pursuing or a graduation or should be just completed his graduation. He's destined to get the stipend as per the Minimum Wages Act defined by the Government of India for the semi-skilled laborers of that particular state, and the age bracket is 18 to 35. So all the apprenticeships, all the traineeship that students do as a part of the WorkX program is governed by the NETAP and the NEEM regulations of the Government of India. Right? So universities, institutions and colleges who partner with School Guru for running this particular program, how are the responsibilities divided? This is what it is. So the red are the ones which universities' responsibilities are, and the black are the ones where School Guru actually operates. So the major responsibility of enrolling students, running them through the in-class training, running them through the online training, getting them those apprenticeship positions, providing them the online learning, conducting assessments, all of this is something that School Guru works in conjunction with the university or the college. The university ensures that it provides the infrastructure to take care of the classroom training and ultimately conducts the final assessments and certification. So that's the way we ensure that there's no extra load on the universities while they do the WorkX program. At the same time, it's available as a diploma program of the university under the banner of the university. So how does it work? the rollout plan, once the university or institution signs up with us, the program is ready to go in about 4 weeks' time. So all the stuff that needs to be done in terms of aggregation of open positions, in terms of getting the trainers in place, ensuring that the learning portal is up and running, the website is there, the student campaigns, awareness, all of this starts happening. 4 weeks' time, we go live with any university that signs up with School Guru today. So evidently, it provides multiple benefits. Ultimately, to the student, it provides them with an additional credit-linked diploma. It provides them with the necessary work experience, which is essential to make them employable today. It provides them the actual soft skills. Actually, when people talk about soft skills and soft skill training, we realize that it's almost impossible to train soft skills inside classrooms. It's almost impossible. There's a friend of mine who said that I use an app called Duolingo. Somebody use that? Duolingo? Yeah? So, okay, no. So try that out. So Duolingo is an interesting app available in the App Store, free of cost, if you want to learn your second language. And it's an interesting mobile app there. A lot of my friends told me that, Chandra, I tried to learn this second app, and Duolingo is great and all this stuff. And they passed several certifications, several levels, and all this stuff happened. But when I actually went to them and said that, okay, let's start conversing in French. Not a single guy would actually converse for 2 minutes with me in French, the guy who learned that. We realized that soft skills can't be taught inside classroom. It only happens when people observe others, when you actually practice, and that happens best when people go to on-job classrooms. So WorkX actually creates a combination of blended learning which involves in-class training, online training, as well as an on-job classroom to create a holistic program which makes students much better employable, get them to their first jobs, and helps them making better careers. So as a summary, how does it all add up? So WorkX as a program provides online training. The entire diploma gets conducted online, provides a soft skill training which is necessary for them to pass the interview, get into that apprenticeships for the students. It's a part of the formal education because the student now carries a degree and a diploma together. It provides apprenticeship, government-regulated monthly stipends, and finally a certification which is approved by the Government of India, AICTE. And finally, they get placement assistance through our parent company, which is TeamLease. All of this that we do is managed by a platform that we have created called Optara. Optara is a free-to-use virtual employment exchange for universities, colleges, institutes. So all of you guys, whoever wants to manage their training and placement cell, the employability, the employment stuff, and want to throw out interesting reports, dashboards, want to measure productivity, student interaction, workflows, all of this, Optara is a completely free-to-use platform for all colleges, all universities. You can just go and enroll yourself there, and you have a bespoke placement portal for your college where you can manage all your students. It is an interesting app which is available for the students. And we have 2 stalls at the back end while you're having your lunch. For anybody who's interested, we have our executives who can run you through what is Optara and show you a demonstration of what WorkX is, what Optara is, and how we can collaborate if we need to. Right? Thank you so much, and we can possibly take up questions as we catch up for lunch. Thank you so much.